Alright, MechaGodzilla, I'm sorry to say, but I gotta put you back in your cardboard prison.
But why? You said I never go back into there.
I know, I'm sorry, but we're probably gonna be moving here sometime in the near future, and it's just a good idea to start boxing you guys up so that you don't get hurt.
Wait, this isn't about that new SH MonsterArts Super MechaGodzilla.
But whatever do you mean?
Are you planning to sell me and replace me with that?
No, I would never do that to you, MechaGodzilla. You're one of my favorites. You're just getting boxed up so that I can move you. And that's it.
So you're not selling me?
No, I'm not selling you. So it's just put you back in the box and I'll get you out eventually.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
It's not that dark. There's actually clear plastic there. It's okay. I'm just going to put you back in there. But, I might be leaving your accessories out.
Wait, what did you just say?
Shh, just turn your head so I can close you up. I'm just gonna leave the accessories out because I need to keep them for the other figure. Here, God, stop fighting around in there. It makes this kind of difficult to close. Whew, alright. Where did I put that shipping box? Hey Rangers, welcome to Super Report Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going over the Bandai Tamashii Nation SH MonsterArts MechaGodzilla and the UX0192 Garuda effect set. Now, this has actually been a review I've had a crap ton of requests for, especially now that got this little bad boy here to do the effect set with. And been kind of putting off and wanting to try to get this guy out for you guys. But now that Tamashii has unveiled that they are going to be releasing these guys together in the near future, it's early next year, decided to be a pretty good time to try to get this guy's review out. So if you guys were interested in pre-ordering the two sets, you mostly are going to get what you're going to see in this video, minus the effects other than the Garuda. Because what you're going to be getting out of the new MonsterArts set is just MechaGodzilla, Garuda, and an extra pair of hands with a brighter color scheme and brighter yellow eyes. Also have some updated articulation. But this review would primarily just be here just so you guys, in case you wanted the older ones, you got the review for and what I think about it. And also for the one that's going to be coming out, you'll have a better understanding of what to expect with the figure when it comes in. But if you guys don't know who MechaGodzilla is, he is from the film Godzilla vs. MechaGodzilla. Some of you might know as Godzilla vs. MechaGodzilla 2 from the Heisei era, which this is my favorite MechaGodzilla out of the bunch. I just really love the design for this one. Granted, I think the Showa movies are a little bit better. Well, at least Terra MechaGodzilla. But I still really love Godzilla vs. MechaGodzilla, and it was actually one of my more favorite ones when I was a kid. So without further ado, for his packagings, starting with MechaGodzilla's, you get an image of MechaGodzilla's head ripped straight from the film. It tells you that it comes with his effects set. MechaGodzilla Bandai Tamashii Nation came out in 2011. Top of the packaging, not too much other than MechaGodzilla, some clear plastic. Also get the nice translucent plastic on the front so you could see the figure if I still had it on the inside. Other side, MechaGodzilla. Opposite side, you get MechaGodzilla with shiny metallic blue and a nice little black and white image of him in the center there. And on the back, you get MechaGodzilla in some dynamic poses. Bunch of stuff I can't understand, some legal mumbo jumbo. And for Garuda, a crap ton of metallic silver, and it looks like Garuda comes in a briefcase. I'm not really sure what this was actually supposed to be replicating, because you think it'd be kind of cool to look like a docking bay or something, but this is what we get. Yeah, a nice little image of the Garuda on the center here with the G, some kanjis. More Bandai Tamashii Nation came out in 2012. Bandai Collection Shop exclusive. On the side, more of the same. Opposite side, still the same. Top. For the back, more metallic, but you actually get the Mecha G, which actually looks pretty cool. Bunch more stuff I can't understand. And some, got some mumbo jumbos right there. So, let's get into this review. Alright, so now that we got these guys opened up out of the cardboard prisons, first we're going to go over MechaGodzilla and his accessories. Which, for starters, he comes with a pair of karate chop hands. Which, I actually have the accessory hands on him right now because I was doing photos and having them fly around. So these are the hands I put on him for that, but he also has this elbow pad that really likes to fall out. But these hands are primarily for what I like to use for the tasers because then they're not cupping and it kind of looks cool if I'm pointing. And also for his flight mode, which the sculpt on is really nice, done in this metallic silver with some black lining for the details for the little bendable sections for the fingers. Looks really nice overall. And then he also comes with a pair of slightly relaxed hands, which they just are bending a little bit on the inside. Have the same details as what we have with the flat karate chop hands. And how you get these onto MechaGodzilla is you're going to want to pull out straight from the forearm. And on mine, it's a little bit tight, but it's not super hard to do. So you just want to make sure that the hand's straight, lining up with the forearm. And then you just pull outward. Good to go. Grab the hand accessory you want to swap out with. Then you're going to want to go straight into the forearm, just pretty much the exact opposite as what we just did. Then just push it on. This is where it gets kind of hard and scary. There we go. And just show you guys real quick what they look like attached onto the MechaGodzilla. Overall, I actually prefer these hands a little bit more, or generally the ones I have posing with MechaGodzilla. But still cool that they gave us this little option. Something I could have seen them easily leaving out, so greatly appreciate it. And then he also comes with this extra neck piece, which what this does is allow MechaGodzilla to go into flight mode, which what you're going to want to do is pop off the head. And the easiest way to do this is you're going to want to just pull straight out from the joint. You notice that it goes out a little bit at an angle, but primarily I just found it easy just to, you lift upward, comes off pretty good. And then you're going to want to grab the base of the neck. Generally I try to fit my fingers right around here where there's this little lifted metal plate. And then you just pull upward, pop it out. Pretty easy to do. And then you just attach the little ball joint into the slotted hole on the neck here. And there you go. Then you just grab your MechaGodzilla head, if I can find the right one. Insert it onto the peg here. Bam! This still kind of looks goofy to me. Because, I just really don't like that this little metallic piece is slotted to the front. It just kind of looks goofy. And it always kind of has. Like, I really wish that there was maybe some way to slide this little metal piece down. Because the way it sits right now, there's that huge gap in the undersection of the head. And I really don't like it. It doesn't look that bad from front angles, but from the side, oh. And to finish our MechaGodzilla transformation, he also comes with a extra tail that is slightly more straightened and not bent like the MechaGodzilla tail we have on here. Which how you swap it out is you just literally pull straight out from the tail, because you guys will see that it's actually hooked into a little clamp here. And there's a little beam on the inside of the tail. You just line up the beam with the little clamp here, push it on, and now we have MechaGodzilla in full flight mode. And you just gotta bend his feet a little bit back. Good to go, which overall, really cool. I wish it came with some way of actually being able to hold him into flight position, but it's still a really nice option for the figure, especially if you get a little bit ingenuitive to get him into this pose. Definitely something to work with, and with the new Super MechaGodzilla, another option to have this guy displayed on your shelf next to him. And then next we have MechaGodzilla's Mega Buster Ray, which actually is pretty sweet looking. I really love the translucent plastic that they used, with the piece that goes into MechaGodzilla's mouth being in a very light baby blue color. And then the beam that's going to be ejecting outward is actually transitions from a more green to a light yellow, and then into a pink at the tip of the beam, which overall looks pretty cool. And how you insert this into MechaGodzilla's mouth is you literally just open his mouth, you line it up, and you just stick it in there. Good to go. The one thing I kind of wish that it had was a little bit more of an elongation, and it was shaped a little bit more appropriately to fit inside of MechaGodzilla's mouth. Because right now, you can see a little bit of that added gap. Looking at it from front angles though, actually looks really good though. It's just pretty much if you're going to have him sitting yourself on the side, you're going to have a little bit of unsightliness. But then again, it might be a little bit hard to get that actually shaped appropriately, because you do have his two little tubes at the back section of the mouth, which if this had a pointed end to, is generally going to have a little bit of contact with that. So you win some, you lose some here. And then I also want to point out the undersection of the Mega Buster here. You also have a little piggle here for his own articulated stand, which I actually think is pretty sweet, because you do get a different base than what you get with some of the other ones, like grabbing Garuda's real quick, which I'll just show you his accessory right now. Garuda just comes with a flat plastic base that's translucent plastic with the nice MechaGodzilla emblem on the inside with the UNGCC on the top right there, and its own little articulated arm to hook onto it, which with this one you get an articulated arm and a little bit of a rocky base, which looks really cool. It's done in overall a camo green color scheme. On the bottom here, nothing too much going on. But what I really like is it gives it a little bit more variety and a little bit of action going on in front of your MechaGodzilla when you have him doing the Mega Buster. And then just to show you guys with it attached real quick. And then actually I'll just hook into the MechaGodzilla too while I'm at it. Alright, so we have him here doing his Mega Buster Ray, which overall again looks really cool. Love the stand. The only thing I do want to point out is getting it back out of your mouth. Click up. There we go. Thank you. Is that when you're moving this around sometimes, at least on my stand, it tends to pop out really easily on there. So you're going to want to be, when you're articulating it, keeping it low to the base, because once you start moving it around, it pops out pretty easy if you want to be a little bit higher. So just want to give you guys a little bit of heads up in that regard. Now what's cool about this accessory too is you can use it to replicate his final move and his final accessory, which is his belly accessory for his plasma grenade, which overall looks pretty decent. Love the metallic silver, the replicate Godzilla's or MechaGodzilla's paint job. And then you have the plasma grenade here on the front, which what this was when MechaGodzilla got pelted with enough of Godzilla's atomic blast, he would absorb the energy and discharge it through his belly button. Weird, I know. But he would discharge the energy that was built up in him through the little lens right here. So it generally looked like that. And then it would go into Godzilla, which you can imagine causes a crap ton of damage. Now, for the details for this, I kind of wish that they maybe done a little bit more, because you can see here it's just some gunmetal plastic over a little bit of detail to help kind of replicate the lens. I actually really wish they were to use some translucent plastic right there. I think that would actually be really cool. And from what I've seen on the one that's coming out, I think they actually solved that problem. I'll have to double check. Yep, they did. But anyways, how you get this onto MechaGodzilla, which actually for first time people, if you never disassembled a figure, could actually be a little bit scary. But how you essentially attach it is you're going to want to pop him off at the waist. So you're just going to want to lift him straight up. Pop him off the ball joint on the waist. You bend his abdomen down, and then you just pull off the plate right here. You just go straight out, really easy to do. And then you just line up the peg holes, which you're going to want to have the flat section be on the bottom. You peg that in. Now you got him doing his plasma grenade, and you just attach it back onto the ball joint here. Really easy to do. You'll feel it pop in once you get it on. And then one thing to also be careful with too is on the back here, you got to worry about the plate right here, or the dorsal spines, because this is actually removable and it can come into contact with the back section here. So again, just a little bit of a heads up when popping that on. So once you get it on, looks really cool overall. Now we have him doing his plasma grenade, but I don't usually have him displayed with this because lately it's pretty much just been Garuda just chilling on his back. But it's still a really cool option, and it's one of the more iconic things that he did from the movie. So it's really cool to see this in an accessory. And then briefly just to go over his details real quick so we can get into Garuda. But for his head sculpt, looks really awesome. Really like all the details and all the little intricate designs that you have on the side of his head. His eyes are more of a orange shade with some translucent plastic over top of it. Looks really cool. Does replicate the movie pretty nicely. His mouth does articulate, and he has some very nice teeth, all sculpted very well. You got his Mega Buster barrels on the inside of his mouth. Look awesome. His neck looks really good too, where you got his little missile launchers on the top of his shoulder. Chest plates look nice, got some vents on the undersection of his boob. And something I just really loved about this MechaGodzilla is the overall appearance of this one. Because for the most part, he's probably the least Godzilla looking out of all the MechaGodzilla, which is something I can really get behind. Because it was neat to see a new version of MechaGodzilla that kind of had his own individual characteristics that kind of transitioned him away from Godzilla, but enough here where you look at it and you go, okay, that's Godzilla. And to me, he always just seemed a little bit more realistic. Like, if you were actually going to make a mech to fight a giant monster, like Pacific Rim style, this is something I would imagine would happen. And speaking of for his dorsal spines, a little bit shorter than what you expect to see on a replica of Godzilla, but it is one of his very key trademarks is his short 3-row dorsal spines. And you have one little dorsal spine at the top portion of his neck, and then it transitions to the 3 all the way down to his tail. And for his tail, it has a little bit more of a curve, which is really cool. It's really nice to it. And on my figure is pretty much his stand, because for mine's legs, this leg right here is super, super loose on mine. I even tried doing the little trick that I showed you guys to help with the articulation there, but it didn't really work for this one because for his legs, he has a ton of die cast. Because he has some right here on his waist, the black section here. Same with the black section for the back of his knee. For the black sections on his elbow are die cast. And also his feet are die cast. So there's a lot of weight going on the legs here. Which is cool because he does hold a very nice base to him. But it doesn't really help with the articulation here at all though. Because you can see even keeping it upright. This one actually holds a pose pretty well for this leg. It's just even outwards, it's not going to really do much. So legs wise, he's probably one of the more nicely articulated figures. Like there's a lot of articulation going on his feet and legs. But because of the weight, it kind of hinders how you're going to have him pose in your shelf. Which is a bit of a bummer. But the legs are detailed very nicely. Same with the nice metallic silver paint for his entire legs. Really like the intricate details where you get a little more of those vent works on it. Knee pads look really nice. And also his feet. I actually really like his feet still being die cast though. I still think that's a pretty cool option overall. And they still hold a lot of that detail. And you can even see a little bit on the under pad of the foot. And his 4 toes on the front section here look really good. And I don't know why we were ending on his arms, but his arms do have a little vent on the top section. His port for his shock anchors on his forearm looks really good. Hands, again, look awesome. Really like the hands on this guy. Then on his back too, you also have his thrusters, which sadly, no details on the inside of them, which is a bit of a bummer. Maybe we would have just seen some black plastic on the inside of it. Would have been really cool. But he does have his 4 on the back, which you have 2 on the back portion of his shoulders and 2 on the back portion of his thighs. For his articulation, his head can rotate all the way around, but there is no real articulation for his head other than that. His mouth can move up and down, nothing too crazy, because they decided not to really add any joints to go forward and back. Like he has a little bit there, but nothing to really talk about. It's just mainly rotation. For his shoulders, can go up about that far, which isn't very crazy. Down about that far. Can rotate all the way around. Nice bend at the elbow. No real rotation at the elbow. For his hand, can rotate all the way around. And also has a little bit of a pivot to it. For his waist, can look a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. Can go up about that far, down about that far. So nothing too crazy. It's mainly a rotation here as well. For the most part, MechaGodzilla is going to be looking straight and upright. For his legs, can go forward about that far, backwards about that far. You can pretty much get him to go all the way around if you really wanted to. A little bit of rotation at the upper portion of the thigh. Nothing really at the knee, but has a decent bend at the knee. And then for his foot, can pivot up and down. Can also adjust forward and back. Rotate side to side. And has a little bit of a wobble to it. And nothing at the tail. For the details for Garuda, really freaking amazing for this. Really love the variety of colors you get with metallic silver here for the majority of the craft, with some gloss white and black work for the details. And you get so much intricate little designs. Like right there, you can see the G-force on both sides of the craft. You have the cockpit here, which looks really cool. On the back here, you get a little bit more of the black panel lining. And you can also see a little bit on the tip of the wings. Not too much going on the bottom, but there is a lot of molded detail there. Same with the barrels for Garuda's maser cannons, which on the front, they actually have some translucent plastic here for... I'm not exactly sure what to call it. It's pretty much like the focal lens, where the maser pretty much focus right there and then eject out of the barrel. And you got the little claws on the top section encompassing the lens. Looks pretty sweet overall. And there's a little bit of a more gunmetal spray wash over the barrel here. And you can even see a little bit more of a smoky color right here on the back portion of the cockpit, and some extra little parts throughout the Garuda. And one thing I really like about this guy too is the thrusters on the back here look awesome, and also have some translucent plastic here. Like the plasma grenade should have. You know what, I don't like these thrusters anymore. So the details are awesome, something you expect to see on the MonsterArts line. And it surprises me too just how small of a figure this is, just how much detail they molded in, and even with the paint job here to really make everything just pop. Overall looks freaking stellar. And then for the accessories for Garuda, what you can do is for these little lenses, you can actually pull them out, because he comes with his maser effects, which are super, super terrifying. But for the details for them, look really awesome, where you get this nice metallic blue going over the entirety of the beam, which you have the lens here too on the bottom, which has that same metallic blue, but clear plastic here for the portion that goes into Garuda. And they also have this little plastic randomly just kind of wrapping around the beam, which really gives it an added effect, which looks really cool. But it's something I worry about if this gets yanked on a little bit too much, snapping off of the effect. Which, you do get 2 of them to put on each of the barrels, which how you attach them is you're just going to want to go straight into the barrel. Pretty easy to do. Just make sure when you're putting it in not to apply too much pressure to the side, because I really worry about the part that goes into the barrel snapping into it. And if that happens, you might have a bit of a problem trying to get that out. And I noticed on one barrel, it's really easy to get it in. The other one, not so much. And I tried swapping it out, and I get really worried about trying to twist it in. So this one, I'm not going to put in nearly as far. But you guys can still see the overall effect of what it's going to look like at the end, which it looks so good. Love that they included this little accessory for it, especially if you just want to have Garuda flying around, maybe chasing Fire Rodan, and having their little aerial dogfight. And it comes with the stand, but we already went over this. But how you attach it onto Garuda is there's a peg hole right on the under section of the craft. You just maybe push that up. Come on. Once you get it straightened up anyways, you peg it into the craft. And now you have Garuda flying around on his own. Which I overall love the effect, and it actually stays on the stand very nicely. So it's not something you really have to worry about. And then even if you have a problem with the stand being slightly loose and worrying about Garuda like face planting or going backwards, you can always tighten the screws here to make sure that it stays locked in place, which is something I really love about these stands in general. And then grab a MechaGodzilla real quick, because for Garuda's other accessory that doesn't involve Super MechaGodzilla, he comes with the shock anchors, which for the details, pretty much a wire, which at the end of the wires you get this little arrowhead which has metallic silver on it, a little bit of detail but nothing too crazy, which this is the part that would go into Godzilla to deliver the shock. At the other end you just get this little silver bit that goes inside of MechaGodzilla's arm, which how you're going to want to have this is you're going to want to have the flat end going into the arm with the little lip here sticking upwards. And then we just grab MechaGodzilla, insert that into his forearm, which one side of my MechaGodzilla, really easy to get in. Other side, not so much. Which is something I've really noticed on this guy. And it might be mainly because this part has some added plastic there. But you pretty much just slide it in there. Be a little bit careful because you don't want to bend the wire too much, especially towards the tip. Because again, kind of worry about snapping it off. But overall, let's just get these stupid wires not to jiggle. Stop it. Stop it. Maybe. Alright, we're just gonna jiggly wires. Whew! And getting back on track. Overall, love this little accessory and the inclusion of it. The only thing I always worry about these is once you start bending them, it's really hard to get that straightened back out. So that is something that can be a little bit of a concern. But pretty much replicates the film. The only other thing I would maybe have liked to have seen is some way of actually getting this to hook onto Godzilla. Might have been pretty neat outside of just sticking some sticky tack on the end of this and just peg it right into him. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys how to assemble Super MechaGodzilla. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove the plate here on the back first. Which, what you're going to want to do is you just pull straight out from the back. And the easiest way for me is to put my thumb underneath the back plate here, and then my other finger resting on the top here. And then you just pull upward. On mine, it's a little bit stiff. So, got that to contend with. There we go. Pops off. You'll notice that there's just 2 little pegs that peg into the little peg holes here, because Garuda comes with this little accessory, which he's going to be resting on these 4 little pegs here. So you just line the 2 pegs with the 2 peg holes in the back, pop it in, and now we're pretty much done with MechaGodzilla here for a minute. And then for Garuda, we're going to turn him over. And you're going to want to take out these 3 little plates on the back here. So you just pull out this one first, which these are all pretty easy to do. And you just pretty much clasp your nail on the top and bottom here. Pull that out. And this one, you can pretty much just grab it from the bottom. Really easy to do. Slides out pretty well. And then you're going to want to take the ones that they come with, because these have the little grooves here to rest on MechaGodzilla. And then you're just going to want to make sure that the extended portion of this is going to be facing towards the back of the ship, because otherwise it's not going to want to peg in for you. And you just pop that in. And that's pretty much it for there. Alright, so next we're going to take the cockpit here, and what you're going to do is slide it down this little crevice right here. So what you do is you just pretty much just push on it. Slides up. Just be a little bit careful, because even on mine it likes to grip a little bit. Just apply a little bit of a pressure, and then once you get it to about here is where it's going to come to rest. Then we're going to take our Garuda and finally attach them to MechaGodzilla's back, which you'd have 4 pegs right here. Insert them into the 4 peg holes in the back of Garuda. Going to want to be a little bit careful, and you're going to want to go straight down onto the spines. And you just push down a little bit. What's your favorite class? And now we got the full-on look, which is awesome. I also want to point out, this part for me kind of adjusts a little bit, which is a little weird. It doesn't pop off, but it's a thing. Because on my other side, it doesn't do that at all. It actually sits on there pretty flush. This one's actually a little lifted, so I'm thinking it might just be coming off a little bit. But for the most part, it looks really good. And I also forgot I never put the lenses back on Garuda. Hold on a second. When attaching the lenses back onto Garuda, they're actually not fully circular if it will ever focus on them. They actually have little grooves to line up with the little claws on the end of the barrel. So you gotta rotate the lens until it slides in. Then you just push it in. And now we got Super MechaGodzilla fully complete. Looks awesome. Pretty much how I remember it from the film. Looks really good overall. And just makes me very, very happy that I decided to pick up the little accessory pack at G-Fest. Because now I feel MechaGodzilla is fully complete. And it was just, without this little accessories pack, I just always felt like MechaGodzilla was always missing something with his release. Which probably would have been rectified if they just would have included Garuda. Or even just at least the shock anchors. Like, this is pretty much just something for MechaGodzilla. So that would have been cool if it would have came with the original set. And not have to be something that Garuda needed to come with. But I can understand, because with this small figure, they want to pack in enough accessories to make it seem like it's worthwhile to purchase. And overall, I think it is, especially if you could pick it up for a pretty reasonable price. And for some quick comparison, here I have the SH MonsterArts MechaGodzilla and Garuda accessory pack, or you may know as Super MechaGodzilla. Compared next to the SH MonsterArts second production run of the Heisei Godzilla and Fire Rodan. And your Super MechaGodzilla compared next to the Trendmaster 10-inch MechaGodzilla and the Garuda accessory to go along with it. And I know I mentioned, you'll see here that it's actually fully encased. I never opened this thing. I was going to open it to actually show both Super MechaGodzilla side by side, but I've come to realize that I'm actually missing the plate on the back here to be able to attach them to this. So I'm going to save that for another video, even though I did say that I would open it in this one. That, and I might be moving soon, so I want to have as many things boxed up as possible. But I'm going to try to acquire that piece, and when I do, I'll do a review. And here's compared next to the NECA Pacific Rim Mutavor and the Ultimate Striker Eureka. And here's compared next to my Bandai Vinyl Godzilla Island MechaGodzilla 2, who also has to use his tail as a stand, and my Trendmaster Baby MechaGodzilla. Freaking adorable. And here's next to the SH MonsterArts 2001 Godzilla, or you may know as GMK Godzilla, and the Ultra Act Ultraman Ginga. So overall, the SH MonsterArts MechaGodzilla and Garuda effect set, I personally love these things, especially combined together. It's easily one of my more favorite SH MonsterArts that are in my collection. Love the effect set that it comes with, and overall works pretty well for me. But granted, with the articulation that he has, I wish he had maybe a little bit more posability. But for what he has, it still replicates what he can do from the movie very well, so there's not too much to really complain there. I guess my only real qualm I have with this set to begin with is just the price tag that it requires to get these guys together. Because if you're expecting to get these guys nowadays, with the reissue coming out, you can find the Garuda a little bit cheaper now. But you're going to be looking at easily over $200. And that's pretty much how much Biollante was when she came out. And that figure is gigantic compared to these things. But it is still pretty cool that it comes with all these little accessories and can pretty much replicate most anything from the movie, especially if you have the Fire Rodan. So for this version, I recommend picking it up if you really like recreating scenes from the film. Then this is definitely the definitive version for that, because with all the effect sets, you're going to pretty much be able to do whatever you want. And that's not what you're going to be able to get with the new version. But with the new Super MechaGodzilla version, you're definitely going to have more change in your pocket after that exchange, so you definitely have to weigh your options. But what do you guys think? Do you guys like the SH MonsterArts MechaGodzilla and Garuda? What repaint are you most excited about, or is the show MechaGodzilla just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. We'll have closer images of this guy on our website if you want to click the link in the description below. Also, we do have a Patreon page, so if you guys want to help support this channel and help its progress and growth, please definitely go check it out there. Also, another link in the description below. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.